be disastrous.
Is it real video? Just because it interests me, because I am in need of a off-grid fan solution for heating with a type of heater that I'm thinking about designing. So I came across this video on the internet, and we all know how real the internet is, all right? And you can watch here. Guy takes a magnet, does a few wraps, connects the two leads to a fan, and then boom, magically off of a single ceramic magnet, he's powering a fan with an electrical motor, which is supposed to be an electromagnetic motor, right? So I'm gonna put a link if you want to try some experiments such as this in the bottom of the kit that I got. So I got this cool kit, the stem kit off of Amazon, and it comes with a bunch of cool stuff. Okay, first off the bat are these little DC powered motors. It comes with 6 of those. It comes with 6 battery, AA battery power things. I'm not gonna show all of them. And then it comes with, it looks like 6 9-volt battery connectors with wires, 6 switches, 6 engine mounts for your little motors. I'm not sure what these are exactly. There's some sort of elbow, I guess, if you want to put an elbow on your motor. It looks like it's got some rods. Again, probably for your motor. It's got some shrink tubing. It's got some wire. And then it's got a variety of fan sizes. I mean, here's a bigger one, here's a smaller one. And it's got a bunch of little wheels that look like cheap plastic checkers. And the idea is you can make things with this, right? This is not for designing electro power vehicles. It's basically for designing things, you know, these are like kids projects, right? STEM stuff. So you can make a little fan powered car. Let's see what else is on here. It's on the other side. You can make, it shows you things you can use for materials. You can make a little fan powered boat. There's that little right angle plastic thing. Somebody made a brushing thing, cleaning thing, a little plane. It says for 14 plus, but I don't know. I think this would interest younger than that, because this is pretty rudimentary stuff, but it's a good entry to STEM stuff. So I had to buy some things that weren't in the kit, which I'll link as well. I bought some good old plain copper wire. And as you can see, this is 18 gauge that I got, and this was a pretty good deal. I like the packaging too, because it's easy to pull some out at a time. And the other thing that I had to buy, you know, analyzing the video, were some ceramic magnets. I took it out of the plastic already, but they're 2 ceramic magnets. They are, you can see it on the thing here. They are 1.75 inch outer diameter, 0.875 inch inner diameter, and they are 0.25 inches thick. And they are pretty strong magnets. They're not like rare earth magnets. I'm not sure what the difference is, honestly, but you can kind of see that these are the ones that are really hard to stick together. Or if they do, you can barely pull them apart. It's pretty hard. So I've already taken the first step here and mounted a little fan blade to my motor and stuck the motor on the little plastic thing. And to note, it's got a little spot on the bottom so you can run a screw through it. I'm just going to use hot glue and mount it. And I'm going to try to replicate the exact number of turns. Pretty similar looking wire if not exact. And the magnets, you can see, are pretty close to scale to what the guy was using in the video. So let me get my glue gun and let's get this bad boy underway. So right off the bat, I feel like this is just a total scam because they didn't really go into a whole lot of detail. I can frame advance this. So here's your magnet. He's like, oh, yep, here's the magnet. Here's a piece of what appears to be copper wire. So there's your one lead, and then he begins to wrap it like so, and that's about as far as the detail gets. Wrap it. Yeah, they show like a whole whopping 3 turns, and then all of a sudden it's completely wrapped. It's got 2 leads on it, but it doesn't really tell you how many wraps it needs. I mean, like right here, you can see the wire crosses a little bit. Hook up the motor, and then the power wires are just basic. He's going from copper to regular metal wire, tin wire, whatever the heck it is. And then it just works. That is all too good to be true. And he literally just wrapped it around and had a lead. And then all we could see was 3 turns. That's what I'm going to assume he did here. All right, another thing that I'll put a link in the description to, and I just sound like an infomercial today, is something new that I wanted to try. This is like a solder gun, or a wire feeding gun. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like a MIG welder, but a solder gun. What does this kit come with? Well, it comes with solder. I don't even know what on earth this thing is. Man, this is a handy little kit, got all kind of stuff. I mean, even down to a sponge. You use sponges, you wet them a little bit to clean your tip. Speaking of tips, it's got all kinds of tips. Man alive. Got little pinchies, right angle ones, regular pinchers, screwdriver to change your tip. This looks like a stand to hold up your gun when you're setting it down. Let's see, I think that just sits like on that somehow. A little nut and bolt and part of your screwdriver there. You feed the solder through the back of the gun there. There's a little opening, this black tube thing. You can see in there maybe, there's a little gear. You see where solder is, and there's a gear and a wheel. So I think you just squeeze that until it feeds. Okay. This thing right here, I think, is to adjust tension on the solder line. But this is what you're looking to do here, right? You squeeze the trigger, and you see that? And then that hits the tip, and then boom, bam, you're soldering. The motors are not marked what's positive and negative. There's just a dot on one pole and no dot on the other. All right, so I don't know which is which, so we'll say this side's positive and this side's negative. Will it run this way? Yes, it will. Now will it run the opposite way? I got a feeling it doesn't matter. Yep. So this motor is bidirectional. You reverse the polarities and it runs one way versus another. Okay, so when you run it with the positive on the red dot, your motor pulls air instead of pushing air. And then when you run negative on that dot, it pushes air. So I think that black dot is the normal orientation for the for the fan. Well, now a wetter sponge. The sponge actually goes in here, I think. So when you solder, it's a good idea to get some solder on the tip of your solder iron and then go from there. So I'm going to go like this and click it on there, see if it starts to melt the solder or not. Okay, it does. Okay, well, learn to use this. And then we'll put a bead of solder on our connector after it's heated a little while. And then we'll hold our line on there. And then hold it until it cools. And then voila, yay. Not too hard, right guys? I don't know if you can see that well. There you go. It needs to be lined up so it kind of melts on there like so. And then just get a bead on your contact point. This is pretty cool. This is completely unnecessary. I don't know if this will teach you to solder or not either. So we're just gonna heat that solder up that's on the connection till it goes all T1000-y. Hold it on there till it cools. And Bob's your uncle, you're all good. You can clean your tip like that, just sticking it in the sponge, that's what that's for. And get that on that video, I guess. And then you can see your solder slag. Shows up in the sponge, and then you got a pretty clean tip. This actually has a... Here's the on-off light, and then you can see the temperature setting, and I can just roll that all the way to off, and then it kicks off. But the hard part's done. Yay! So, back to the crazy music. Do, 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 do. We got a positive and negative lead on our fan. We've got our magnet coil generator thing. Does it conduct electricity? Here's our magnet, holding it on this end and putting it on this end. Nothing. Not a thing. Let's try flipping the wires. Maybe it's continuity. Nothing. Not a thing. No, this doesn't work. Let's try another one. All right, and before you criticize me for not following the experiment close enough, well, here we go. Greater in depth. So now I have two magnets, which feels like it's more of the thickness that he had. And if you count my runs, 17 runs, just like he had. There's one on one and one on the other. No big surprise, not a thing. Let's try flipping it. Nothing. This does not work. So they're just scamming people because it's fun to look at, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so why didn't this work? Well, scientists have been working on stuff like this for a very long time, and there are laws for this kind of thing. This is considered perpetual motion, which violates the first law of thermodynamics, which is the conservation of energy. Not to get too scientific about it, read up, watch some videos. It's basically been tried many times. People have been trying this for a very long time. And so far, no one has done it. But maybe you could? Who knows? Till next time. bye.